Hello, I'm so glad you stopped by today. I have two cards for you today. This is the first one, and it's a Mother's Day card. It says M is for Mother, and then the second one you see there to the right. And I'm using a stamp set today by Inka Dinka Doo. This is a stamp that I've had for a while, and you can see that I just haven't used it, and I thought, you know, it's Mother's Day, it's a beautiful stamp, so why not give it a try? So, you know, feel free to look through your supplies and see what you have and use what you have. Now I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide in Worn Lipstick to stamp it, and you can see I've already done that and then fussy cut it out myself. Now this card is a pre-folded card. I purchased a pack of them at Michael's quite a while ago, and I used my Silhouette Cameo to write those words at the bottom there is for Mother, and that's why I'm flexing that card, because when you pull it off of that sticky mat, it sort of bends the card a little bit. But you could see those pens there. Those were the Silhouette pens that I used to write that. Of course, if you don't have those, you can use alphabet stamps to do that. Now for this stamp, you want to make sure for this technique that you continue to know what the orientation of your stamp is, and don't turn it around and mix it up, because you're going to use some alphabet dies to cut out the letter M from the center of one of those flowers, and the other one you're going to cut out. So I chose to cut the bottom one out, for the letter M out of the bottom one, because that image didn't stamp as beautifully as the top image, in my opinion. So I also cut out 4 extra M's because I'm going to glue them together so that they'll have some dimension. Now I'm going to set them all on this pad here for a moment, and I will glue them together using some Tombow Mono. Now that black mat there is my magic mat from scrapbook.com, and it helps me in my Spellbinders Platinum machine. The plastic cutting plates tend to bend and crackle a lot. So with that magic mat, that stops that from happening, so I love it. So anyway, you can see here that I'm just going to do some fussy cutting, but I am going to keep this piece of paper to help me with the orientation, with the orientation of this flower. So I'm just going to cut this out by hand. It's called fussy cutting if you are unaware. And I'm being careful to turn the paper more than the scissors for the most part, and that will help create a better cut. And one of the things I'm doing too is when there's really sharp points or fine details, which there are a lot of those in this particular stamp, I go ahead and go off the edge like you just saw there, instead of just trying to do one continuous cut. And so that's kind of what I was trying to do here. And don't be afraid too if you go inside the lines a little bit because you're trying to get all that white off. That's okay. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Nobody will have the original stamp to compare it to, and they wouldn't care anyway. So I'm just continuing to turn that paper. And here's another little trick that I learned from Kathy Zilski. She has a YouTube channel too. And the great thing about it is that if you use that bone folder, you can kind of straighten out any of those edges so there's no curling and it lies flat. And it just makes the cut look a little more professional. Okay, so this is a stamp set by Tim Holtz through Sizzix. And I'm going to put the M right in the middle of that, but first I have to layer up all those blank ones. So that's what I'm going to show you here. And I just sped up the video so you don't have to like watch the monotony of my gluing it together 1,000 times. So anyway, actually it's only 4. I only put 4 layers and then the top layer, which you can see here. And it is surprisingly a little bit more difficult to do these little, I don't know if it's just, you know, holding those little letters in your hands, trying to glue them all together is not as easy as it looks. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and go around the edges with that same color that I stamped the flower with, because I don't want any white peeking out around the edges when it goes on the flower, because I want it to look like it's all part of the flower and sort of just coming out at you in a kind of a 3D effect. So you do want to be sure to wash your hands through the magic of editing. You didn't get to see that, but I did wash my hands very well before I touched that top M that had the stamped image on it, because you don't want to smudge that or blur that. You want to make sure that image stays exactly the way it is, because it's got to match up with the flower. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you with this. This is the second card that I made, not the first one, but I'm putting a little bit of this video here in this portion because I want to show you. So what I did was I just am lining this up with the second stamped image so I can see which way it's supposed to go on my card. And once I find the proper orientation, then I can put it on my card. And then that way when I put that M down, I'll know it's the right way and it's easier to find exactly where it's supposed to go. So that's kind of a little tip for you if you want to do this technique at home. And I encourage you to give it a try. You can kind of see there where the white parts line up on the M and the flower. So anyway, just use the supplies that you have though, but you definitely want to use, if you use an outline stamp, you want to color it in before you try this technique, because it won't work with an outline stamp that hasn't been colored in. You need a solid image. So now I'm just going to decorate the inside of the card with the same stamp. I'm just going to stamp it on the inside here, and it looks really pretty on that white paper, I think. So this card has some texture to it, so it kind of added even more texture to the flower, even though the stamp itself has that photorealistic kind of grainy texture to it. It's kind of cool. So anyway, just going to adhere this to the front of my card that you can see right here. And I was thinking that, you know, it's really pretty. You could leave it like that, but I wanted to step it up a little bit and put some finishing touches on it. So I decided to add some of this peel off border sticker, and this comes from Elizabeth Craft Designs. But you know, you guys, again, use what you have. If you have a border die or maybe some sort of a blade that cuts decorative edges, you know, just use what you have and be creative and have fun doing it. Okay, now it wouldn't, that same border wouldn't fit at the top because the flower was too high. I placed it too high. So I decided to use these Love from Lizzie beautiful lines. And these are also peel off stickers, but they come from the UK, so you have to pay extra shipping and everything. But that one's really pretty and I like the way it turned out. But I thought I'd also try another way, and instead of using my silhouette machine to put the greeting, I thought I would use an alphabet stamp set. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just using, this is VersaFine black onyx ink, and those stamps are from Hero Arts. It's a Hero Arts clear stamp set. Now you can see that my ink was very juicy and it kind of got a little bit blurry and over, I don't know, it's just, there was too much ink on that R. It looks like a P and not an R. So I do go back at the end and try to fix it with some a white gel pen, but that was just an adhesive eraser that you saw there. I was trying to get rid of the excess adhesive that was seeping out underneath that panel. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base, and again, get rid of any excess. I love those adhesive erasers. They're wonderful. You can use your finger if you don't have it, but if you're going around the edges like that, sometimes you get a paper cut or the friction can really burn your finger. Not too bad, but you know, it's uncomfortable. So that's why I like the adhesive eraser. So now I'm going to show you this part again, which I already showed you before. It's just the lining up of the M. And I did let that dry for a little bit, but I edited out that portion so you didn't have to watch it dry. And I'm just going to add some adhesive here and put the M on it again. And once that's done, we'll be finished with both cards. So I'm just going to use my tweezers here to help me get this M on, and then I pull in my bone folder also because the two sides of the M were a little bit wobbly. So that was an excellent help, that bone folder there. So give it a try if you happen to need that. So thanks for watching. I hope you had fun, and I hope you give these cards a try. And if you liked the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. And have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.